When I'm saying all these autistic traits, I'm taking neurodivergent traits, etc., it doesn't mean that if you have one of these traits that you're autistic. And it doesn't mean that other neurotypical people also do not have one or two of these traits. And I think I mention it sometimes. Like when I talk about stimming, I know neurotypical people also stim. When I talk about rejection sensitive dysphoria, you know that neurotypical people also suffer from the pain of rejection. However, first of all, when we talk about the autistic traits or neurodivergent traits in general, whether it's ADHD, AuDHD, etc., it's that the intensity of those traits are different, number one. And number two, more importantly for us, because we cannot compare in intensity, it's that if you have not just one of these traits, not just two of them, but multiple of them in just you as a person, then that is a really big indication that you may, in fact, be neurodivergent. It's the same you're the same person, just you, this one person, you have interoception issues. You have face blindness. You're the same person who has sleep disorders. You're the same person who cannot seek a job. You're the same person who has stimming, internalized stimming, externalized stimming, whatever. You're the same person who you can focus on one thing and forget some other things. Like you can focus on your special interest or hyper focus on something, and you forget to eat, you forget to sleep, you forget to take a bath, you forget to cook, you forget to clean your surroundings, you forget everything, you forget to talk to people around you. You're the same person. You're the same person who has social anxiety. You're the same person who just the same you. Like think about all the things in my previous two videos I've talked about at least 10 traits. You're the same person, not just that you have one trait or two traits out of these 10 traits that I've talked about in those two videos, but you're the same person who has maybe like 8 traits out of them. And that should be a big indication that you may be neurodivergent. Those aren't things that are normal, they're not common things. Do you understand? So I'm not saying that if you have one of these traits, then automatically it means you're neurodivergent. Absolutely not. But if you have a good number of them, then there's a huge chance you are neurodivergent. Whether you decide to get a professional diagnosis or not, there's a big chance you're neurodivergent. And the reason we talk about these things, the reason I'm talking about some of the traits you might be neurodivergent is because I would like people to know earlier than later, sooner than later, that there's a big chance they're neurodivergent. So they might decide to look into it more and read more and research more. And the more they're able to relate to this trait, the more they're able to relate to things they read and they learn about neurodivergence, the more they're going to be able to, or the sooner they're going to be able to sit down with themselves and say, look, maybe I'm not neurodivergent, maybe I am, but if I am, then it would explain why my life has been going in this trajectory. It would explain why I've been feeling like my entire life as if I don't know how to do anything. Everybody else knows how to do stuff. I'm the only person who doesn't know how to do anything. I'm the person who sucks at life. I'm the person who is this. It might explain maybe the depression I've experienced, the anxiety I always experience. It might explain all these things. And maybe if I were to begin to allow for myself to be in certain ways, if I were to begin to give myself grace, if I were to begin to care for myself in certain ways, then maybe it would reduce some of my anxiety. Maybe it would help me alleviate some of the depression that I've been experiencing from time to time. Maybe it might actually improve my quality of life. It might actually improve, if I would just learn to care for myself in certain ways with that neurodivergence in mind, then it would make my life infinitely better, and it would make my relationship infinitely better. It would help me in guiding me on a choice of career path, and while I'm in that career, how to go about things, etc. That's the whole point of it. It's not just because you want a label. It's not, nobody cares about the label. When it gets to the nitty gritty of things, when you're able to validate yourself, nobody cares about the label. Personally, I would not care about the label, except that it reminds me of the things that it reminds me of what it is about me that has made my life the way it has been this entire time up to this point. And it also helps me to be able to explain things when I'm talking here on camera. Other than that, I don't go about in my daily life talking to people about how I'm autistic. Absolutely not. I don't. Not because I'm ashamed of it or anything, but because I'm not in the mood to have any ignorant person, invalidate me or anything. And B, I just don't see the need for it. I don't see the need for it. It has never come up before. Probably won't come up. Except if, especially in this country, here in Nigeria, we don't have laws about, oh, if somebody has a disability, then you have to give them accommodations in the workplace or in school, etc. No, everybody's just everybody. As long as you can see, you can speak, you can answer questions, and you can walk to school. Even when you cannot walk to school, you're in a wheelchair. Let's not even go into it. But you will just do, like, we don't have laws about that. About, if you're disordered or if you're disabled, then you should get accommodations at school or in workplace. We don't. So it doesn't really matter except for yourself. Like, if you're in this society, the whole point of knowing your neurotype is for you to be able to take care of yourself. Okay. If you're in a different environment, if you're in a different society, like I believe in the UK, they have laws about people who are disabled and how they should be given accommodations in the workplace. Some other countries too, they have laws about that, where you have to, give them like special classes and allowances in school and things of that sort. Okay, that's then in societies like that, then yes, you may want, especially if you want to request those accommodations, then you may want to get a professional diagnosis.